How you doing? This is Ivan from Bitesize, Wisdom for Busy People, and I'm back with another quote of the day to have a great day. Today our quote is by Lao Tzu. The quote is, "Without going out of doors, one may know the whole world. Without looking out of the window, one may see the way of heaven. The further one travels, the less one may know. Thus, it is without moving you may know. Without looking you shall see. Without doing you shall succeed." So I'll try to give a few comments and try to extract the essence of this quote as I've come to understand it. So, anybody that embarks on the self-development or spiritual journey, initially we may be doing a lot of things, we may be taking action, but this quote says, without doing, you shall succeed. So, for many of us on the spiritual journey, we may do a lot of things, we may need to do a lot of things, we may need to study a lot, we may need to practice a lot of spiritual practices, but it is all with the goal to arrive at the point of the effortless effort, doing nothing, and then we will succeed. And doing nothing, for many people, it's a very abstract concept that by doing nothing, we will arrive at our destination. The goal for people on the self-development and spiritual journey is to realize your true self-realization. So how is it that by doing nothing, we will realize the self? So as I mentioned, to get to that point, many of us, we're going to have to do a lot for that insight to really have any meaning and for us to really grasp the significance of what it really means to do nothing. So I just want to make a little analogy on realizing our higher self. It's much like when you walk into a room. What do you do when you walk into a room? The first thing you do is you notice all the objects in the room, right? Everybody's attention will be drawn to whatever object is in the room. But there's something there, and that's always there, that nobody ever pays attention to. Our attention is never drawn to it. And what is that? What is that in a room? And it's simply the space in the room, right? We very rarely acknowledge the space in the room. But without the space, the objects can't exist, right? But our attention is always drawn to the objects. And very much in the same way, in our inner space, in our bodies, we are identified to the objects. We are identified to our body. We are identified to our thoughts, our emotions, our feelings, our sensation. These are all objects of our awareness. But that's what we always pay attention to, right? That's what we are drawn to, and we forget about the space within which everything is happening. And that's the whole spiritual journey, is having that radical shift in perspective of where you not only are aware of the objects in the room, but you are aware of the space within which everything happens. And then you come to know yourself as a space, and it is the primary thing because it is the ground of being, it is the ground of where objects arise from. So just like when you walk into a room, and I point this out to you to notice the space, how much effort does it take to notice the space in the room? Nothing, right? It's just a shift in perception. It's just perceiving. So much in the same way, when we acquire enough understanding and we have trained our perception and we can now discern the space in a meaningful way, much in the same way as the quote says that by doing nothing, we shall succeed. We will get to the point where we don't need to do anything. It's just a shift in perception, and we automatically recognize ourselves as that. I am that. And the more you recognize that, the more rarefied your consciousness will become, and you will begin to integrate that in a meaningful way into your life, into your experience. And that's it in a nutshell. So it's quite a trip. And another quote that goes along with this is, the first step is the last. Because our essential nature is closer than close. But not being an object, we often will go on missing it. Most people never are able to grasp and make that perceptual shift. But I hope that analogy is useful to you guys, of walking into a room and just noticing the objects and then becoming aware of the space within which those objects are in. And much in the same way, that's the spiritual journey, the inner journey. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Wherever you are in the world, take care, and much love and peace.